Got Hogville's Dudley Dawson with us here on halftime. Dudley, we missed you last week, but it's good to have you back this week. It's not fun talking about last night. We kind of have to. I'm sure it's not fun writing about it either. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing okay. Back pretty good health-wise. So, hate that I missed getting to go to College World Series, but I figure they'll be back before I, hang it up. So, but man, what a gut shot for the fans and the team, and obviously the coach is just unreal. And I know that when the ball was headed toward right field or left field, I thought, well, that's it. There's going to be a game tomorrow night, but it just didn't happen. And I had some type of phrase. Maybe it was kind of like, "You got to be freaking kidding me," when this happened. But it's just inexplainable at times.
What's the proper perspective to have on this? This is, I have to put this as honest as I can. I mean, I've been calling baseball games for close to 4,000 of them. I think that's maybe the worst half inning I've ever seen. I mean, truthfully, when you think of what's on the line and the plays that were not made, I'd have a tough time finding something that was any worse than that. In 2018, I understand because that was a national title, but that was just one misplay. This was four. Is now the time for perspective on looking back on the season and saying, hey, we made it this far, isn't that great? I think that's a little difficult the day after, and it's still, I mean, this loss is still fresh in everybody's mind. I was still at the ballpark 12 hours ago, you know what I mean?
Right. And I tell you what, I certainly get how the fans are reacting. You get so close to these things, and they throw around words like curse, and I don't know how much I believe that, but man, when things like this happen, and you mentioned it, not just one thing. I mean, 3 plays that they make all season in almost every other game. Yeah, where it presented itself, and they don't get it done. Then, I tried to rationalize the throw to third base. I have to remain objective, not be a fan. But my wife, who is just an all-out fan, was just going ballistic. And so I get how fans are acting out and all that. But I tell you what, the different plays that it took is just takes your breath away. I mean, you don't quite know what to say about it. You absolutely feel for the kids or young men, especially Chuck, who you could see how bad he felt and all that. But yeah, to answer your original question, I think you've got to take a few days, maybe a week, to analyze the season. And 50 wins. They're, been to the College World Series more than any other team, I think, in the past 7 years, if I'm right on that. They've got one thing they hadn't checked off the box. Everybody thought maybe this was the time, but it didn't happen. But you can't not be dejected, but you can't overreact, I think.
Yeah. I think that's probably the right way to look at it here, too. And then for the players, who were involved in some of those plays, Davalon, I hate it for Charles. The guy was one of the engines of the train this year for this team. I mean, I know you always can put it in terms of, well, they wouldn't be here without these guys, but you look at the play in left field. Davalon, he and Vihiva Aloy were the 2 best hitters on this team, and they've had tremendous seasons. I mean, look at how Vihiva grew as a player, as a hitter, as a shortstop this year. I think Davalon, he blossomed into something that I'm not sure if anybody could have expected he turned into. It's just...
Man, I got to tell you this. I went to all the scrimmages during the fall, and, obviously they'd play each other. He'd bat first every time, and he would do okay. But I didn't see it. I didn't see him being the fantastic leadoff hitter that he turned out to be, especially against left-handed pitching. I mean, he grew from the fall to the spring and then just had a fantastic season. And you don't want to pick anybody out for this to happen to, but my God, again, that whole they wouldn't be there without him thing is so true. And it's just, I wish he could have the memory of taking Liam Doyle deep instead of the one that he's going to have, and I hope that he's got a good support system around him. And by the way, I'll go ahead and say it: if you're dejected and taking shots at kids online, I don't want to know you. Get out of here.
Yeah, the players come and go. Charles, he's headed to the draft. So is Vahiva. There might be, I haven't even counted it, just throwing out a number, 8 or 9 guys drafted off this team. The coaches stay around. The coaches are the ones that really, set the culture of the program. This coaching staff has been together now. Gosh, I think it's been 7 or 8 years. The same guys, right down to director of video up to head coach, everybody. In their mind, they know what this program is. They know how close they've been. And it's a program, Dudley, that just reloads every single year. It's just a little difficult to think that you'll have a team that felt as complete as this team felt at times. I always go into the city. People ask, is the team going to be any good this year? And my first question to them is Dave Van Horn still the coach? Of course they're going to be really good. Can they be this good again? Because this felt like a national championship caliber team.
Yeah, to be honest, I think, during his tenure, they've had one bad team. I think I can pinpoint that one bad team. He's a phenomenal coach. We can say it locally, and some of the bitter fans can gripe and say he's past his prime, need to move on, all this. But the experts, the so-called experts, the national guys who talk about him with glowing terms, the kids who talk about him and his staff in glowing terms, everybody was so proud to be an Arkansan or a Razorback fan during the Gage Wood game. That was a high. Obviously, last night was a low. So was 2018. But you got to step back and think what you have here. Yes, you want to win a national championship, but it's not the end-all, be-all that so many think it is. You don't just reinvent the wheel when the wheel's done pretty good for you.
Yeah, well, I agree with all that, Dudley. What's the next couple of months like for you? We don't have game stories to write. You don't have media days just yet. I guess about a month or so. Players don't report to.
Well, you made a point. You made a point there. They've got to reload. I'm sure that I already have a couple of portal transfers that they've gotten in. They're going to continue to do that. I expect the next couple of weeks to a month. That's what I'll be working on the most. But there might be a couple weeks there in July where I sit around and get rested. So
okay, well, I hope you're all right. I hope you're able to rest and write at the same time. So I'll try to do the same thing. Dudley, thanks for trying to make a little sense.
By the way, great job this season.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. With baseball season in full swing, BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, scores, and even live in-game betting while the games are being played. We keep the dog days of summer rolling with the largest selection of odds on everything. With updated odds on the MLB, UFC, and boxing to tennis and NFL futures, BetOnline remains the best online source for all your sports wagering information. In between games, head over to the BetOnline Casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here.